Have you always wanted to zoom with your camera? Have you always wanted a 50x zoom camera? Have you always seen, maybe recorded with your phone, an alien that you saw and it was just a little light? Well, now you can times 50 zoom and it's not an alien. Or you can see a meteor falling down and it's not a meteor because it's just a Red Bull promotion going on. But now you can see all that because you can get a 50 times zoom camera with the Huawei P30 Pro. So there's a lot of cool and interesting stuff with this phone. There's actually two versions, a P30 Pro and then a non-Pro. There's a DxO Mark of 112, that's pretty cool, but we'll just gloss over that. There's a little film, there's some different color hues, some different shades and everything you can get. Pretty cool as well, but what we want to talk about is the super camera system, which is the biggest and most cool thing about this. So you're going to get your 40 megapixel super sensing camera, a 20 megapixel ultra wide, and then you're going to get your TOF, which is the little depth sensing for blurring backgrounds, and then your square super zoom camera. So this is going to be the big thing that we'll be talking about, closer to the things you love. So this is 10x hybrid zoom, so you're going to get kind of like lossless zoom through the extra megapixels. And basically it's going to be an array of like kind of periscope-y style stuff going on inside the phone horizontally, and then it's going to reflect up out, and that's where you're going to get your pictures from. So here is an example of the moon, which is a small little dot on your phone, which you probably don't get very good pictures of the moon with your phone, but here's 10x zoom, so you're starting to get a bigger moon. We'll go up to 21, 22, so getting bigger, and then 50, and it's going to fill up your whole phone screen, and you're going to get some pretty cool shots of faraway things. So that is all good, but we also have the light evolution. So they're changing up the camera to get 40% light, increase the light. So they're switching from RGGB to RYYB. So they had to do quite a couple of things. DxO Mark talks about it in some of the other places, but they had to do quite a bit of work to get in all the different YY sensor imaging stuff, but you're gonna get 40% more light, so way better night shots in general, and some other camera-y stuff that will do. And then here's the inside the phone, so that was pretty good. And then apparently you can pull the moon closer, not quite, but on the phone screen you sure can, so that's pretty cool. And so good night phone shots. Here it is, here's 409,000 ISO. So here you can see the little shades, you can't really see it that well, but here it is with a very high ISO, some colored pencils. So that's pretty impressive. We'll have to see how that grading that looks in like real world environments, but not noisy. So and then you're going to get the blur sensing. That's the fourth extra camera going on there. That won't be on the regular P30 model, which we'll talk a little bit about the differences later. But some backlight, here's some camera features, turn water into art, some long exposure shots. We've seen that a lot on other phones too, pretty cool. Redefined perspective, so you get a nice volcanoes going off or something, and then you can get the wide angle shot with one of the cameras as well, so that's good, and being seen in pretty much all flagship phones coming out now, so that's awesome. A macro world, so you can obviously get close-up shots on things, so that's awesome to see. Reveal your radiance, front camera, so that's good selfie pictures. Not quite the best. The Samsung S10 I think has the two front cameras. It still scores the top on DxO Mark, but still good for 32 megapixel selfie pictures. Bring the environment to you, so you can zoom in on wildlife. You saw a little bit of a zoom going on there. That's it won't disturb them as much, and pretty cool. And then it's got OIS, optical image stabilization, so that is always good for videoers. And this is the really cool camera feature that they're doing with this DxO, with the super zoom. Basically you're going to get two videos. It's going to record two sets of videos. So you're going to get your close-up and then your far away shot, your normal shot. So you can do some pretty cool things, and you just straight up send video like this. I believe it was mentioned somewhere that this is coming a little bit later, so expect in a week or two, or however long it takes them to get this cool feature out. But you can see some pretty cool film features that you really haven't seen this before in like you could do, but now you can do it with just a smartphone camera. So pretty interesting that they're actually using it for other than just super zooming in on people and seeing faraway things, which you could spy and do everything like that. And then their AI video editor is going to be there, some visionary design, some other cool different things. The size of the screen is 6.47 inches. That actually curves around the edges, whereas the regular P30 will not curve around. It's got a little bit of a notch going on. It also doesn't have a speaker up at the top. It's going to use the display as sound. I believe we get some new tech here with the new tech. So it's going to do some audio with that, so that's pretty good. some IP68 water and dust resistance. That's also good. Here are the actual specs of the phone, the Kirin 980. So top of the line processor, 7nm, 8 GB of RAM. I believe that's on the Pro version, where the P30 might have 6. We'll go over a comparison for that too. 4200 milliamp hour battery, so pretty big. Recharges 70% power in 30 minutes with their 40-watt supercharge. So that's pretty fast. This is for the Pro model again, and we'll talk about the other one. Sharing is caring. You can charge other people's phone and just wirelessly charge your own phone. That is good. Some AR stuff. And I believe there's some hot features with their laptops, some accessories. So they have some crystal style, extra glamorous stuff. I think there's also here it is, a snorkeling case as well, because you want an awesome camera to be underwater and get that super zoomed on that fish you just saw that you couldn't have seen otherwise. But some really cool stuff with the P30 Pro. And in general, have we mentioned that it has a 112 DxO mark, which again tops itself technically, and also the S10, which tied at second place for 3 different phones. So pretty crazy. The Google Pixel 3 has completely been pushed off. It's not even in the top 10 anymore. The selfie camera is 89, so good there. Not quite the 96 that S10 holds right now, but basically DxO Mark does a pretty good in-depth. It shows a lot of the 5x optical zoom, and then the 10x like lossless kind of zoom, and then up to the 50x. We get some picture reviews. They talk a little bit how the camera uses the main camera for 1 to 2x zoom, so normal zooming, and then it'll use a combination of 2 photos from the 5x and the regular one to do the 3 to 5x zoom. And then once you get a 5x zoom, it's going to use just the zoom, the periscope camera, to get 5x and greater. So that is how the zoom's going to work, and they talk a little bit more about that and some other cool features and stuff. And just comparing it to the second phone, it's got a 119 compared to the Mate 20 Pro, which is 114, so it scores 5 points higher in photos, again noted due to the zoom, and also I think they mentioned the bokeh effect, so the fourth camera, the TOF, time of flight camera, gives you good blurring of backgrounds. And the video is about the same, 97 versus, just lost it. It was somewhere, the Mate 20, 97 versus 97, there it is. So there is that. And I guess you're interested in pictures, which DxO Mark provides plenty of pictures, but we're just going to look at the zoom pictures for them. And here's some 5x zoom. Here we're going to zoom in up on the head, and this is the iPhone on the middle and Galaxy S10 Plus on the right. So you're going to see a blurry iPhone. You're going to see it a little bit better on the S10. You'll start to make out some more of the face, the eyes, the nose. Less blur is what we're going for. And it looks like you're going to see a lot more detail, and it looks like the blur is gone to me, mostly 95% gone, and that's a crisp close-up shot. You'll be able to do some really cool zooming stuff. That was just 5x. Here is 10x zoom. So we're going to zoom all the way to this middle building, not quite to the very rear, but you're going to see completely blurred on the iPhone XS Max, so not very good there. S10, you're going to start to see some medium detail, low detail, and then here you're going to start actually seeing some actual quality stuff going on here. Even the background buildings, you're going to start to be able to make that out. So pretty good. And then they have tons of photos. They do lots of testing, DxO Mark. They get really in depth with some of the color sciences and all of that. So you can check out DxO Mark for the full thing if you're super interested in the camera, which I think a lot of people will be. And also here's a side-by-side, and AnandTech does a good breakdown graphs of these. So the P30 Pro is 6.47 inch. These are both OLED. The Pro is the curved, and the P30 is a 6.1 inch. It's not curved around the edges, so you're not going to get that extra bit of stuff going on. 6 gigs of lower RAM on the P30, and then 128 gigs of storage, where you'll be able to upgrade to 512 on the Pro. And then here's the rear camera, slightly different. So 16 megapixel ultra wide, a little bit lower, 40 megapixel main camera. The aperture is a little different here, and it looks like no OIS on optical image stabilization on the regular version. And then you're just going to get the 8 megapixel telephoto, but I think it's just 3x and not 5x. So you're still going to get super good zoom, better than all the other phones for sure, but not quite as the flagship. So you'll definitely want to be looking at the P30 Pro if you're looking at photography and everything. The IP68, the water resistance is a little different, both 32 megapixels front cameras. The battery is 3650 on the smaller version, 4200 on the larger, and the charge times are a little bit different too. Like we mentioned, 70% in 30 minutes for that 40 watt fast, super crazy charge. And it's 22.5 on the wired, which I think is mentioned somewhere 58% in 30 minutes, but it's pretty fast charging on both phones. And then here's your pricing. So the P30 Pro, 999 euros, so pretty expensive. It's a flagship phone, and then it goes up to 2049. But for that super zoom camera, that's something no one else really has. So no one actually has that on a smartphone, so it's going to be worth it, I'd have to imagine, for a lot of people. And then also, last little mention is it's going to have a US 3.5 millimeter jack on the regular version, not on the Pro. So you're trading that extra zoom for that camera, I guess, and then plus the extra fourth camera. So pretty crazy stuff. And I believe it's mentioned April 6th is when this is going to be able to be ordered. So it's coming pretty soon. So P30 Pro, pretty crazy zoom cameras. You're going to be able to do a lot more with it. That dual video effect, that could be pretty useful. And just in general, zooming in on stuff and creatures and animals, pretty cool. So we also have some more extra, a little bit of news. Samsung also announced a Galaxy A70 phone. This isn't usually, I believe, like US. It's kind of in different countries you usually find these. And this is a little bit more of a middle range phone. And it's going to have 3 rear cameras and then actually a notch. So again, middle priced is probably what this is aiming at. And it's going to have a very large display though, 6.7 inch, a U display. So it's going to have that notch, 20:9 aspect ratio, display ratio. And what else do they mention here? 32 megapixel high resolution front and rear cameras. So they mention a little bit about cameras, and then a large battery is the other big thing about the phone. 4,500 milliamp hour battery. So that's pretty big screen and a pretty big battery with super fast charging, 25 watts. So good charging there. Not too many other details. We're going to find out all about this phone April 10th, where it'll come from, where it'll be located in, what countries it'll be released in, and pricing. But some more phone news coming soon. So a lot of crazy cool things with cameras and phones. And we have Lulu saying, finally I can prove the moon is flat. I'm so confused. And we'll have another episode tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific with some more tech and game news. With that, we will be signing out. Pew 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 pew.